Okay, hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. In today's episode, we have a whole ton of insane myths that you guys suggested on the last episode. So, just like always, if you do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes of the Fortnite Mythbusters, make sure to go down in the comments and drop a comment of that myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. Also, we are on the road to 1.1 million subscribers, so if you have not already, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Just about 70% of you guys aren't already subscribed, so you know, what are you waiting for? As well, let's see if we can smash 21,938 likes on today's episode. That would be insane. But anyways, without further ado, let's get right on in to today's video. Kicking things off, jumping straight into the first myth. The first myth is, can you light a campfire with Dr. Doom's mythical weapons? Now, I actually thought this was a very good myth because not too long ago we tested something similar where we put a gas can on top of a campfire, and when that gas can exploded, it would actually set the campfire on fire and you could heal from it, you could stoke it. So with Dr. Doom's mythical weapons, where they have similar explosions, will they actually set the campfires on fire like this does? So to do this myth, I actually had to, you know, somehow acquire Dr. Doom's mystical bomb as well as the Arcane Gauntlets to try this. After that, I made my way over to Risky Reels, where there was actually a natural campfire, where I then shot the Arcane Gauntlets, and I was surprised to see that the campfire was not lighting on fire no matter what. I shot it as many times as I could, point blank, directly in the center, but it would never actually light on fire. But the mystical bomb is a different story. I threw the bomb directly onto the campfire, and it lit on fire. You were able to heal from it, but it never would stoke the campfire. And if the campfire is already burnt out and you throw the bomb on top of it, it won't light the campfire magically either. Going into the next myth, is what happens when the Stark robots goes through a rift? Will they glide? Will they teleport? What exactly happens? Now, I thought this was a very good myth. We tested this myth out in the past with a henchman as well as a zombie, but they wouldn't teleport through the rift. So maybe the Stark robot will change that. To do this, I killed a few of the Stark robots. I then hacked them. That way, you know, they would follow me over to the rift, where I then built a platform up, and it was very annoying to kind of bait them up on top of the platform. But after a little while, I managed to do it. Now, I accidentally went through the rift, but if I was near the rift and there was another player near the rift, it would actually teleport us up. But in this case, the Stark robot did not teleport through it, which I was confused about. So I then went into replay and saw another POV from the direct bottom, where the Stark robot literally ran straight through the rift, like literally directly to the center, and it had literally no effect. The Stark robot just ran directly through it once and even twice, and you know, he was just chilling. Going into the next myth, is, do fire traps work underneath the water? Now, this is actually a very good myth, because obviously I'm sure everybody knows this, but fire and water, they don't go very well together. Even in Fortnite, I mean, you would throw a firefly jar into the water and it won't even light on fire. Even if it's next to the water will, you know, take the fire out immediately. This is actually the exact same outcome with the gas can. If you explode a gas can next to it, or even have a tree lit on fire, I mean, there's so many ways to put out the fire with the water. So will the trap even work if it's underwater, or, you know, what exactly happens? So when trying this myth out, I basically put the fire trap underneath the water as well as the stair up against it. That way you can kind of wedge your player up against the wall as well as the stair, and you will be completely underwater. This is also the same way how you could drown in the game too. I was actually pretty surprised to see the fire trap did go off, and it still did the standard 50 damage. We also thought the fire trap could light other buildings on fire, but that's not even the case, even if it's out of the water. So it's still cool to see the trap working underwater. You could definitely maybe trick some people with this. Jumping straight into the next myth, is, will you take fall damage if you bounce off of a bouncer while in a car and then get out of the car midair? Now, we already know that there's no way to take fall damage while you're in a car. We launched ourselves off of max height, we landed on the wheels, we landed on the side of the car as well as the roof, and we never took fall damage. So if you jump out of the car, will you take fall damage? And if so, if you jump out of it while you have the anti-gravity effect from the bouncer, will you take fall damage as well? Now, firstly, if you don't have an anti-gravity effect and you jump out of a car from a good height where you know, you could obviously take fall damage or even die, you will take that damage. There's no way to get out of it unless you just stay in the car. I then placed some bouncers at the end of a platform that was very high up in the air, which launched my car up. The car had an anti-gravity effect. I even had the anti-gravity effect. You could tell because when I got out of the car, I still had, you know, the effect around my player, but as soon as I hit the tree or even the ground, I died immediately, which I was actually pretty surprised. This anti-gravity effect is supposed to allow you to not take any fall damage, but in this case, it was totally bypassed. Going into the next myth, and a highly requested myth. This myth is, does Midas make Dr. Doom's mystical bomb or the Arcane Gauntlets golden with, his golden touch on weapons as well as vehicles? So Midas, if you don't know already, anything he touches, if it's a vehicle, except the car, or even any, weapon, it'll turn to solid gold. And this was the exact same outcome with, old mythical weapons back in season 3, like the drum gun, the shockwave grenade, all of those sort of weapons. Now, when I tried this myth out, I had to get the mystical bomb as well as the Arcane Gauntlets. After acquiring both of those weapons, I had Midas's golden touch. I picked up both of those, but there was no sign of any golden touch on them. I mean, the Arcane Gauntlets, they were still the silver color that they naturally come. I dropped them, picked them up to see maybe if they were glitched. They never turned solid gold. And the mystical bomb, there's no way to tell. The explosion was still green, the bomb was still green, but it would be pretty sick to see solid gold on both of those. Going into the next myth, is, if you throw a gas can through a rift, will it teleport into the sky since it's an object rather than, just like a regular item? Now, I think what he means by an object rather than a regular item, when you kill someone with a gas can in their inventory, the gas can will just stay on the floor and it won't float like how a regular item does. With that being said, I took a few of the gas cans to a nearby rift where I then threw them directly through from all angles, from the bottom, from the top, from the sides, everywhere I possibly could, but they never would teleport up through the rift. It seems like the only things that could teleport through these rifts are actual real players. It would be pretty cool to somehow bait a rift if you throw a gas can and then say you're in a build fight next to a rift and you want them to think that you rifted away. If you throw a gas can from the build fight into the rift, that would be really cool, and it would definitely trick a lot of players, I'd assume. Going into the next myth, and a highly requested myth. This myth is, will a fire trap explode a gas pump? So when trying this myth out, I basically went to this gas station that is right to the side of the authority, and I found a fire trap. Now, the fire trap, as you saw earlier on in the video, it basically shoots out fire, so it would only make sense for it to deal damage to the gas pump and then have the gas pump maybe explode. The gas pumps explode at exactly 100 HP. That's when they light on fire and then slowly tick down in health. So we pickaxed the gas pump till it was at 150 HP. I then had my friend bait out the fire, that way it'll go off, but the fire would not affect the gas pumps, not even one bit. So therefore they can't light the gas pumps on fire and making them explode in the long run. Either way, still pretty cool. Going into the next myth, which is actually pretty similar to the one we just did before. This myth is, what happens when you put a gas can on top of an already lit campfire? Now, we already know that a gas can will actually light a campfire on fire if you shoot it and it explodes on top. So if you put a gas can on top of a campfire, will it just sit there? Will it explode? What exactly happens? I tried this multiple times. I tried to throw a gas can onto an already lit campfire, which was very difficult to do, and it touches the campfire for literally a second and it explodes. It makes a massive explosion. This is also the exact same thing that happens if there's a campfire that isn't already lit and there's a gas can on top of it. It will explode, and it's definitely a pretty cool makeshift trap. Going into the last and final myth, this myth is, will Mystique have Midas's golden touch? Now, Mystique is actually a pretty cool skin. It's very unique, and it's in the season 4 battle pass, I believe at tier 80. Basically, with this skin, if you kill someone and use its built-in emote, you will actually steal that skin of the player who you just killed. So if you kill Midas, will you steal his skin as well as the golden touch that comes with it? My friend who was the Mystique skin, he killed me, and he immediately did the emote, which turned his player into Midas, the solid gold version, and the weapon that he had in his hand had this this fire wrap, but as soon as he turned into the solid gold Midas, it immediately turned gold even with the weapon still in his hand. We also had him pickaxe me, and then he opened up a chest where he picked up the weapon, and it still did give him the Midas's golden touch, which is something pretty cool to know, and I honestly wasn't expecting this. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Turn on those post notifications to never miss another Fortnite Mythbusters episode, and I will see you guys next time.